But let's talk about the LA Galaxy. This was a statement put out by all the LA Galaxy supporters groups. I recognize LA Riot Squad, Angel City Brigade, Ultras, a bunch of them, all right?
Angel City Brigade, Galaxy Ultras, and Ghosts Ultras Galaxy.
Okay. And this is wow, because we know this happens within a lot of supporters groups overall. There's usually a lot of like disagreement. It's hard to get everybody on the same page. But the LA Galaxy supporters are like, we agree on this. We need to get
in a way that Barcelona's front office couldn't.
They need to. They essentially the statement. I'll just read the first paragraph. It says, given recent news regarding Chris Klein's contract extension, leadership of the Los Angeles Galaxy supporters groups have unanimously agreed not to attend any matches until change in the front office is made. And Chris Klein, former LA Galaxy player, who is now the GM, I forgot his exact title, but he makes a lot of very big, important decisions for LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy recently were fined by the league $1 million and
a significant amount of money,
and also a lot of general allocation money, and because of the Christian Pavon signing, they did the Matuidi, paid him a little bit under the table, and like nobody needs to see this, and they're like, "Yo, we see it all." Right. So they got in trouble.
Sometimes I think you got to push the envelope, especially if it's stuffed with money that no one knows about.
And so LA Galaxy are going to obviously suffer severe penalties, but Chris Klein obviously was a big part of that. And his contract was extended. LA Galaxy have kind of been living in mediocrity for, I don't know, the last, decade kind of. When's the last time they won MLS Cup?
It's been a long time, but they were very close to. They made the second half of last season fun. They've got some good players. They've got a good system.
2014.
Who's their coach? Greg Vanny?
Vanny, yeah.
He's got to be like, damn, I miss the old days, bro. Just get an MLS Cup whenever I wanted.
Right. So this is a time, I think, for look. The one thing I'll say is, we've we shout out to ISC as well, who are having their conference this weekend, because we've performed stand up in front of a lot of supporters groups, including LA Riot Squad and Angel City Brigade.
That's right, and they do not take jokes well.
One of the guys, the LA Galaxy guys, was so heated. We were roasting the LA Galaxy, but
we roasted everyone.
We roasted everybody.
And this kid legitimately wanted to fight me. Someone said that LA Galaxy says, we will tailgate with a Coors Light in the parking lot, but we will not enter.
Good. That's a good ad read. Yeah. Shout out. But first thought about this. Look, if this is
Del Boy also said, I guess this makes the fans the guardians of the galaxy. But
this is look. We don't usually see protests like this serious in MLS.
I also think because it's MLS, my first instinct is to say no one from the front office is going to make a change because of this. You know what I mean? It seems like MLS does what MLS wants, and the fans either enjoy it or don't. You know what I mean?
Well, Chris Klein has been in his in this job for quite a while, and
also it's not a good sign if people are trying to get you fired that don't even work there. You know what I mean? Sure. It's not a good sign.
But it's gotten to the point where look, and in the statement it said this boycott does not come from animosity to the players and coaching staff, rather a frustration with continued front office practices that have placed off-field business in higher importance than on-field product. So we know LA Galaxy, when it comes to business, they sign huge players. Zlatan sold the most jerseys in MLS. Like they're good at that aspect of the game. But the last few years,
the first one they did, they basically needed the league to change its rules to allow it.
With David Beckham.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're good at that, and we know that. And I wonder if that being good at the business side of the game has allowed for people to maintain their jobs when the results on paper look really good as far as bringing money for the club and bringing up the club's notoriety. But when it comes to just the on-field product, it doesn't. I mean, I'm sure. I know they care about it, but it just doesn't seem like it's the biggest priority compared to just having a successful club.
I would say that that's all of MLS. MLS is a business.
Well, every single club in the world is a business. We all know
but
that.
They run at a loss. MLS is like, no, we make money around here.
Okay, I mean, but obviously that isn't an excuse for the supporters to be like, oh, okay, I understand it's a business, so
no.
We're all
look,
good.
I get where the supporters are coming from. It's fine to sit here and say, hey, we don't like the business moves you've made because they've cost us now on the field as opposed to benefited us. Yeah, you have every right to protest. Every time I'm very cynical of protest within MLS because do they lead to anything? Sometimes they do. But it feels like in Europe, there's a little bit more danger when there's protests.
Sure. Look, it seems like what they're asking for is for Chris Klein to be removed from that role.
Can you actually see a person getting fired from their job?
Well, the Inter Miami, I forgot the guy's name.
And by the way, if you did break the rules,
he did break the rules.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know his specific involvement in breaking the rules, but he is the guy that gets to pick the players and stuff like that and involved in those decisions. So he should bear some responsibility.
Sure.
So the guy from Inter Miami, I forgot the GM, his name, but he got suspended for a year. And removed from his job. So you would think Chris Klein would suffer the same penalty or something similar. But again, I don't know what his specific involvement was, and I don't want to just assume or accuse. But I would assume that years of mediocrity should be enough to lose your job.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what his involvement was. And really, how much confidence the team has that he can continue to do the job he's done and or do better. And if they have confidence in that, then I find it very difficult to believe something like this can't be mediated.
Andrew Johnson said, LA Galaxy is my opinion why MLS is seen as a joke retirement league. LA Galaxy,
that's like an MLS purist.
Right.
You can't say that because for most people in Europe, for most people outside of America, MLS is LA Galaxy.
Sure.
I could name you two other teams.
And just like, the Premier League to a lot of people is Manchester United.
Sure.
And to me, LA Galaxy.
Name me another Saudi team besides Al Nassr. I don't know one.
Al Hilal. Bro,
is that true?
I watch every week. Okay. But the fact that, LA Galaxy is, to a lot, like you said, like the kind of the face of the league. Mm-hmm. And LA Galaxy, to me, kind of feels like, especially with, the noisy neighbors of LAFC, it feels a little bit outdated and old compared to all the flashy new things LAFC is doing. And on top of that, and what unites supporters more than anything is your rival winning a trophy.
Which is what I was going to say next. There's a little bit of an inspiration to hey, we need to make a change.
Yeah.
Because that guy just got a new car and now...
Can we get 45 owners like LAFC has? Whatever you guys need to do. But LAFC winning Supporter Shield, winning MLS Cup, it's going to light a fire. It should light a fire under the other team. And then when the news comes out of we have to deal with a fine and a penalty that's going to affect our roster, this is not surprising overall.